Why having enemies, considering having enemies, fighting enemies, is keeping you small, mortal, and slave. There are three fragmentations that happen in the mind, in the heart, in the body. The moment you consider that you have an enemy with your mind, that very thought, let's say you're fighting the system, fighting your boss, fighting your wife, you're fighting your parents, you have enemies. That very thought fragments your unity. It makes you fall from your birthright, unity, divinity, oneness, to duality. That doesn't mean you can't have it, don't do it. You just need to remember that to be able to reaccess this. The second one, fragmentation in the heart. When you feel you have an enemy, you have an urgency, you have something to accomplish before something, there is something you're fighting, basically, with your heart. Same thing, you're fragmenting your power. You're not loving anymore. Love is oneness, love is full. How can you love if you have enemies? You're basically decreasing your power of unity. That doesn't mean you don't need to discern. Always need to discern, but not consider it as an enemy. Enemy creates fear. Fragmentation of the body. That fear of the body, if you act as if you're an enemy, even if it's subconscious, even if you feel really good, really nice, but it's happening at the subconscious level. That fear is progressively siphoning your energy, your physical energy. This stress is what's creating decay within your cells. Remove that completely from your body field. There is no more reason for your cells to decay. There is no more reason for you to die. And this is, to me, the secret for longevity. Not biohacking, not all these new great methods, not biotechnologies, not all of that. Removing completely fear from your program, starting with the mind, the heart, and then the body. When you empty this toxicity, you are bringing that infinite light that is nourishing us eternally. So, how can you do this? It's not always easy. The first thing is to remember when we start fearing, when we start, it can be time, it can be someone, it can be a situation, it can be anything that put us out of centeredness, peace, and power. Remembering that at this moment we're entering duality, we are cutting ourselves from our power and coming back to source, re-entering that space of safety, that space of oneness. I'm going to give a concrete example. Have you ever worked on root trauma and noticed that each time there's a new trauma? Because beyond all the trauma, there is the root, the master root of the trauma. And until you unplug that one, you keep playing in that loop of removing your trauma, one after one, one after one. So, how can you find the master root? I'm going to give you an example. I had abused 2 times in my life. Once when I was a kid, by my grandmother, a little boy, I had suppressed it. I remember it recently, sexually. And later, more recently, by my ex-wife. So often when I have trauma now, what comes, it's the ex-wife. Right? That energy that I remember well, that hate, all this drama, all these things. So often I'm dealing with this trauma. And I remove it and I feel better. And then it comes back again at some point. Always in that loop. And today I noticed when I went, I saw first, had a panic attack. I said, oh, that's an attack, that's her, etc. I saw her first this, I uproot it. But then my wife was helping me. And she said, no, it's not that, there's something deeper. And behind that, I saw my grandmother at the beginning, like a brambles, always like spikes. There is one root, and then it can root later and grow again. And if you remove that second root, this is still the master root. It's going to regrow somewhere else. So you remove the first root, and then you keep digging. You keep digging until you find the master root, and then you uproot it. And then there's no more reason for this trauma to come back. So sometimes it's fast. You can just switch it with your mind. Or it can be a quick mindset. Remember, I am one, etc. Sometimes it's a bit harder. You have to run. You have to take a cold shower. You have to do push-ups. You have to meditate. But mainly, if you use the vortex and you are entering the deeper space, you'll be able to zoom in into the root and to output it.